and welcome to Moral High Ground, where I talk about what's morally right to you and the rest of the world. So today, I decided to do something a while back, maybe a couple months now, maybe three. I'm not good with time periods or months. We could have a whole encounter, party, hang out, and stuff, and I probably won't remember most of the day, or the hour, or the time I did something, or we did something, or what year it was. But I remember it. So, anyway, I'm talking about military history. This is a good channel. I think you guys should support it, as well as this one if you feel the need to support my work. Um, just go on, share my stuff, talk about what you like about it. Give me some kind of comments and, let me know what you think. And if it's too much or too little or just completely dull, I would like to know. I'm trying to build some of the community. I'm not good with the whole reaching out community thing and social media thing the right way. I just do things. Like most of the time I edit and I do a lot of stuff. There's like a lot of stuff I've made and I've edited, but I haven't put it out because I don't know what people think. And this is why I need people to leave comments and things like that. So I know where the hell I'm going with this stuff. So really I need to hire someone to do that because I have fun editing and filming and making things. I just don't have time because I work a crappy job to be able to sit back and actually go, oh, let's put this on Instagram, let's put this on Facebook, let's put this on this and that and so forth, and write this and then monetize and be a moderator on Reddit and yada yada yada. It's chaotic, too chaotic for me. So, anyway, today we're talking about military history again. Because I did this several months back, and a small number of you guys liked it, mostly males. I was surprised on the global scale how many countries actually liked the little video I was talking about. But this isn't my work. This is military history's work. My work is me pretty much reviewing it and explaining it to you how I see the flaws in humanity because of the war and how they held so much back from the rest of us, not letting us know what happened in Italy, I should say. Well, didn't letting us not know this stuff, and so I'm pretty much bringing it to light because I see things in humanity right now in our country, and it being whole politician season. This is very something to think about because America is not just a country that's supposed to be for the free when everything costs a fortune, and honestly, none of us are free. It's not just a place where, like I always say, it's a corporation. And in a lot of cases, America is a corporation. It's all about the dollar, the almighty dollar. You know what I mean? There's so many corporations making billions of dollars every week, month, year, okay? And the rest of us are eating chicken scraps and fighting over crumbs like bumps. And so, and then a lot of us are posers. There's tons of posers out there. They got to buy their fancy new crap, new Nikes, new all this crap, and they can't even afford to buy a fucking Happy Meal. Okay, so that's I'm not trying to be funny, but that's the truth. So I'm totally talking about this because we, of all things, not just a corporation, not just a country of people that's diverse and everything else. We are a country that is built off of war. The backs of our ancestors, the backs of our relatives. We're a war-mongering nation. So we go to other countries, we eliminate, we assassinate. Hell, we migrate. Okay, we do all this crap. And the thing about it is, we need to shine lights on it because there's things that's done and been done by this country that's not discussed. And so that's what brings us to this issue today. In the military history episode, like I said before, the last time I did this, I watch this time to time, and a lot of other stuff that's historical, but I like historical things of war and of gods and things like that. There's a lot of different ways and different cultures I will entertain when I'm watching historical stuff. There's a lot of stuff I won't, too. Okay? Don't want to get too deep in satanic crap and all, so I don't care about the history of that crap. But anyway, so in this video today, they're going to be talking about the atrocities of the United States of America in times of war, mostly WW2. And everything starts and ends in WW2, okay? We have the Cold War because of WW2. Okay, we have all this crap with, well, I guess you would say I guess you said the economy was messing up before World War II, but because of that, we have Social Security and all this crap. So the Great Depression was actually going to happen either way. But a lot of different stuff happened. You know, we had a lot of comic book superheroes was created because of World War II. You know, Captain America, you know, and a whole bunch of other ones you guys don't know, like Captain Battle and Captain Truth and so on and so forth. And even Donald Duck and freaking Daffy Duck fought in World War II. It had nothing to do with this. Okay, I'm going way off topic, but just seriously, so World War II makes and breaks everything in the United States of America and the rest of the world, and gave us our enemies and our allies. And so this is why it was best to reflect on something that changed the world in such a drastic way. Because before that, everybody was a dirt farmer. So anyway, so here we go. We're going to learn about these countries and things that happen, and just think of it as a review thing. Once again, shout out to military history. I can only say this so many times. Shout out to military history. Shout out to military. See, it's one of them tongue twisters if you say it too fast. Shout out to military history. Okay? Follow these people, like these people, share these people. Learn something. I don't care what you're doing. You're bored. There ain't nothing going on. Quit thinking all this crazy crap and look at your phone at all the girls and learn your military history. And that's being said because I said so. So, anyway, I'm in a funny mood today. So, here we go.
The image you are currently viewing depicts one of the most...
Oh yeah, let me say this too before I get deeper into this. This thing might turn your stomach around. It might turn your stomach around. It might make you feel uncomfortable. It might make you just say, oh my God, what's going on? I can't believe this, you know? And it's very emotional, shocking, horrifying, gruesome, macabre. It's like every word that you know that violates humanity. And it's because this is literally war. So there's bodies and dead people and all kinds of stuff. So if you're offended by that or you're uncomfortable by that, you turn this off right now and go about your way and watch something else that's more entertaining for you. But this is what I'm talking about, because it's not about just the loss of all these people's ancestors and stuff. It's also about learning what people with power will do to keep power and to maintain their place in the world, or their relevance in the world. And so that's where we're at. So here we go.
Savage crimes of the Second World War. In it, we can see a mountain of completely destroyed corpses after a bombing. You might think that this massacre was committed by the Nazis. However, that's not the case.
So right there, that's a horrifying scene. Just imagine just coming around the corner and you see a whole bunch of bodies stacked up, decomposing. There's a certain, and I mean, I don't know if this is YouTube topic or not, but there's a certain term for, it's called, I used to say it real well, I had to study it, and I don't know why I did. I researched certain things. But anyway, there's this thing called abdip something and crap. Anyway, people die. And when they die, you lay their bodies on top of each other and all that. After a while, it turns into this ooze. And it's a certain thing. But anyway, it's toxic, and it becomes kind of greenish, yellow type of thing. Has an odor that's like the damned. And some people, that's even like, I guess there was this killer or something who took some of that stuff and injected it in people and they die. It's really sick stuff, but it becomes a toxic poison. And the reason why this happens is because every human body has a whole bunch of chemicals and minerals and all kinds of things messing around in their body. One person might eat a certain vegetable more than the other one, and it mixes together when they die, and just makes this nasty ass ooze, all these bodies decomposing, flesh and illnesses, and top of that, it's very horrifying. And so like I said, this is going to be a gruesome episode. So just deal with it, or you ain't no man. Word, homie. Solid snake.
The culprits of this carnage were the planes of the United States. Today, in this new episode of Military History, we will tell you everything about the worst war crimes committed by the Americans. Number 4. Operation Teardrop.
I have to pause it right there because that sounds tight. Okay, Operation Teardrop. And it's tight when you get in the military stuff, especially in the games and stuff, and they get these badass operation. It's like when you're watching Metal Gear Solid 3, you know, Operation Snake Eater. That's the shit, man. And Shadow Moses in the first Metal Gear game, you know, Shadow Moses is like, just thinking about Moses and talking about Shadow Moses. This is an operation. This is a military mission. It's like, it just sounds tight. Like, you operation something and you're cool. So next time you make a plan, or you know, you make some kind of a plan to do something, you know, just call it like Operation Chicken Wing or something, and it'd be cool. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds cool.
So let's begin with one of the lesser-known crimes of the United States. In 1944, the American Intelligence Service was convinced that Hitler had prepared a fleet of submarines loaded with missiles. It was supposed to be used to bomb the city of New York, completely destroying it and wiping out the population. As expected, the US government planned a military maneuver to defend against the threat before it was too late. Thus, Operation Teardrop was born, a campaign by the American Navy to hunt down German submarines lurking in the waters of the North Atlantic. The operation proceeded normally, with Uncle Sam's ships patrolling the waters accompanied by planes. Here are some images that attest to this.
Flying high above a United Nations convoy somewhere in the Atlantic, Navy cameramen accompany patrol planes on the lookout for enemy submarines.
Everything changed on April 24, 1945, when a fierce encounter occurred that would end in tragedy. On that day, a German submarine was detected by the U.S. destroyer USS Frederick C. Davis. Realizing that it had been discovered, the officer in command of the U-boat, Lieutenant Captain Paul Just, ordered the ship to be torpedoed. The projectile pierced it to the engine room, causing irreparable damage and sinking it 5 minutes later. Out of a total of 192 crew members, 126 died. Over the next 10 hours, other American ships set out for revenge and pursued the submarine across the ocean until they managed to corner and destroy it.
So, pretty much to recap this whole situation that we're paying attention to here, the U.S. government went out looking for Nazis because there was some kind of Nazi vessel, and they pretty much, you know, overkilled, let's put it that way, this vessel in the middle of the ocean, and just went to town on it. Now, I don't know, now me defending the United States of America here, I have to say, it's killed or be killed. I mean, they're in the middle of the ocean. It's not like they're on land and some stuff. If you're in the middle of the ocean and they have a vessel that can attack you, and you have a vessel that can attack them, I think it's common sense to attack the enemy. So, I mean, you can have mercy, but they're not going to turn around if they're, you know, they might feel trapped if there's multiple U.S. vessels around it, you know. So, yeah, someone's going to get attacked either way. But on the other hand, you know, I could say if they had more support, they would be, you know, it would be a reason to attack them, you know. But because they didn't have no support, it might have been a reason to back off. So that's the way I look at the other side, the Nazi side. If they had more people around, yeah, attack the hell out of everybody. And because they didn't have enough, maybe they could have gave them a chance to surrender. But like I'm saying, maybe they feel threatened and they didn't want to surrender. So this whole concept here is where I'm confused. And I watched this myself personally. I was like, it's kill or be killed in the ocean. Everybody's going to drown. Everybody going to drown. Their vessels going to get holes in them because they shoot missiles and torpedoes at each other. And so it's like, it's just kill or be killed. It's simple. But you got to look at the other side. Like I said, if they had more troops around, from aerial troops and sea troops, then yeah, everybody attack everybody. But because it was just one vessel, that vessel had the opportunity to surrender. But like I said, it's war. They're attacking whatever. Anyway, back to it.
Before the U-boat was lost in the depths of the Atlantic, they captured 32 Germans, including Lieutenant Captain Just. It was at this moment that the Americans ignored all rules of war and, instead of treating the prisoners decently, subjected them to brutal interrogations. The goal was to extract information about Hitler's plans to bomb New York. They likely also wanted to vent their anger over the 192 Marines who had died on the USS Frederick C. Davis. In any case, the Germans were tortured in extremely cruel ways, receiving savage beatings, forced to perform strenuous physical exercises for hours. They were deprived of food and forbidden to sleep until they confessed their plans. After some sessions of torment, Lieutenant Captain Just agreed to provide confidential information about his submarine's plans. Finally, the detainees were sent to a prisoner of war camp in Fort Hunt, Virginia, where they remained until the end of the war. The methods of the Americans were never judged as crimes and remain unpunished to this day.
So that's something right there. So they did crimes against humanity, or against the Germans, and no one paid the consequences. But I'm more than positive that every Nazi that worked underneath Hitler's reign got punished for crimes against humanity in the world. So I don't know. This is like a real. That whole first part of this is like, I'm confused. They're like supposed to be attacking these guys. They just said, they even named a ship that got attacked with a bunch of Marines on it, that they lost to the Nazis, and the Nazis wanted to destroy New York. I mean, to me, it's a win-win. We get to keep New York. We get to defend the troops that died in the middle of the oceans in this ship. So I don't know. It's really odd to me, but someone with a military background, if you're watching this, explain what the real atrocity was in this first thing. Besides the fact of torturing Germans with the whole rag over your face and water to stop them, make them suffocate type of thing. I don't know. At least that's what I saw. So.
Number 3. Mutilations in the Pacific. The photo you are currently looking at was published on May 22, 1944 by Life, a highly popular American leisure magazine. The accompanying text to the image reads as follows. When Natalie Nickerson's fiancé said goodbye 2 years ago, he promised to bring her back a Japanese. He was a Navy lieutenant from Arizona, tall and handsome. Last week, Natalie received a human skull bearing the signature of her future husband. It read as follows. This is a good Jap, one we recently picked up on the beach in New Guinea.
Bruins loads a complete serving of fruits, veggies, adaptogens, vitamins, minerals, super mushrooms, prebiotics, and antioxidants, like organic.
Surprised by the gift, she named the skull Tojo. However, the armed forces disagree with such actions. Believe it or not, the practice of mutilating the corpse of a Japanese and keeping a part of their body was widespread among Americans.
So, to stop it right there for a minute, that's the hatred that people see from the other side that are not a white person or Caucasian. Is they see these type of things in videos and stuff, and they go, oh my God, they're racist, you know. But here's the big issue about humanity, okay, is that what makes you humane is that you have a heart, that you're able to, not even just a heart, but a will to understand the difference between killing for fun, okay? Because after you start killing for fun, that means you're sick in the head. You lost some kind of stuff in your marbles, you just went completely bonkers, okay? You want to go out and start just mutilating people and assassinating people for what? Because they're a different skin color than you? You know, me personally, I've met people of other races that are very profound in knowledge, you know, to say, because they make you think, you know. And I met a lot of people that's supposed to be, oh, that person's cool, and they're really a piece of shit. And I'll just be honest with you, the people that think that person's cool got issues of their own, and they can relate to that other person's issues because they're on the same path. So to judge someone just based off of their skin color is retarded, because what they're doing right here is they're trying to say that the Japanese were no different than animals and that they needed to be mutilated. You know, that guy's holding the skull of somebody's father, brother, uncle, you know what I'm saying, nephew, whatever, and they're all sitting there smiling and joking like it's a big thing. Well, the thing about it is there's people that still think like this. This is a primitive way of thinking, but more like a sadistic way of thinking. And in so many ways, it's the most dangerous way of thinking because this is focused towards one culture. It's the same thing with the black situation. The hatred towards black people are focused towards the black culture. But what happens if an individual has a desire or the hunger to eliminate all humans, to eliminate the whole shebang, the whole human race? What do you call that? Because obviously you can call these guys hateful racist, But if you was to say, oh, this guy hates everybody, just starts killing people off the bat, and in a serial killer type of way, so you don't even know that he's killing people. But he's killing white people, he's killing black people, he's killing Mexicans, he's killing Asians, he's killing Indians from India, he's killing Native Americans, he's killing, Ethiopians, come on, he's killing everybody. The whole shebang, okay? And hates the whole shebang with a passion. Just like how when you walk down the street and there's someone who's just naming all these things at freaking Spanish people, they call them Spaniards, they call them, whatever the hell they call them. And I can't think of that because I don't think like that. But, so there's like, you can call a black person his word, you're going off about, oh, yeah, this and that, and funky this and so forth. I can't even talk foul. I can't even say nothing racist. But my point is, most of the time people say I'm saying stuff that's racist, well, I'm not trying to. But anyway, so my point is this, okay? So I lost my train of thought saying that. But my point is, if an individual just wanted to kill humans without no hatred towards their skin color or the neck of the woods they grew up in, their region, their educational levels, their permissivist nature, or their violent nature, or their, sick humor, just don't want to kill you for a certain reason, but just kill you because you're another human. What do you call that person? I believe this is the next upcoming sickness, is a person that will honestly kill any race, anytime, anyone, because they hate humanity. They not just hate humanity in a way where I think a suicide person would. A person that commits suicide usually hates some humanity and don't feel like they want to be a part of it. They can't handle it. They don't get no respect. They don't feel human themselves because they've been treated less than human. So the concept of saying that an individual that doesn't do this is more human than the one that doesn't is a little odd, because some way they're taking themselves out of the game, being a little bit more humane in a way. Maybe not. I don't know how to say it in the right way, but I'm just saying that they're trying not to be the problem, but they are the problem, because that becomes a problem. Because if one person does an action, it triples down to another person doing the same action based off of something similar in some kind of way, but to get attention. But the attention that they want, they will never see. So it's flawed. So, well, I'm all over the place. My point is, this is the next thing I believe is going to happen, is that there's going to be people who hate humanity, hate humans in cities, and stuff, just hate being around people who don't like to socialize with people, because it's already happening. And so what I see from there is that there's going to start developing killers from this. People that cannot take it anymore, instead of trying to take their life, to take everyone else's lives. And that's kind of what's been happening in grocery stores and stuff like that. People come in and I forget the name of that town where the guy went in the grocery store and started killing people, or they go to the schools or something like that. And there has to be a way to eliminate this process before it happens. And I believe that way to do it is to bring back true community again, where people truly care about what's happening to their neighbors. One an old neighbor falls in their house, hey, you gotta go there and try to help them out. They need some kind of help them, you know what I'm saying? If there's a kid in the neighborhood that's, their mom kicked them out or something and whatever, and they're all just a little kid, take care of them, help them out, or help the parents, give them something so they can make the things work with their kids. Bring that community back and stop isolating people. Just like watched the video the other day where Haitians moved in. These people don't like them, and stuff. They're trying to move out because the Haitians moved in. And that's just stupid, because this country is so much of a boiling point. Just put anybody in there, you don't know what to do. And so I believe this is going to happen. It's going to happen. And so this is the thing, to prevent it We have to make community. We have to have a heart. We need to stop being so selfish, stop being so arrogant and dumbassery. I just created that word, dumbassery, that we can't even realize what the hell is going on. So I believe that we have to go out and start trying to bring people into the fold and stop being so. I mean, this has been going on for too long in this country, forever. That's, oh, you hate this person because they're this color, or that person because they come from here, or that. I mean, at the same time, those people that hate don't have enough education or intelligence to understand why they hate the damn thing. It's the stupidest crap, but we're going to act like we're intelligent. Then we need to show intelligence. We need to show that we're better than other people by not having any kind of bigotry, hatred, or type of malice towards anybody. But this right here is damn right sick. And all them sons of bitches should be burning in the fire of inferno, okay? And so back to the video.
This was because, in the Pacific theater of war, Americans were convinced that they were fighting against inferior beings who did not deserve compassion.
You see, that's my point right there. That's the thing I was just talking about. These dirty sons of pregnant yaks are going around slaughtering people because they think they're less than human. If they walks like a human, talks like a human, owes you money like a human, then it's a stupid ass human, okay? And you shouldn't have to take them out and act like they deers or some kind of trophy animal that you're going to put up on your wall. Every human deserves a chance on this toilet earth. The only problem is they ain't giving out enough chances.
The origin of such hatred traced back to the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, when Japanese planes ravaged an American military base. The toll was 2,400 civilians and military personnel dead, as well as almost 200 destroyed aircraft. The offensive was seen by the U.S. population as an act as cowardly as savage, worthy of bloodthirsty barbarians. The press referred to the Japanese using insults such as parasites, yellow scum, and rats. The stage was set for Uncle Sam's soldiers to massacre the Empire's troops once they faced them. Next, you can see them in action, using all their weaponry to exterminate them. When a battle ended, Americans rushed to search among the bodies strewn on the ground. When they found one that was more or less intact, they took out a knife, pressed it against the flesh, and cut off a piece. Trophies could be ears, noses, hands, or teeth.
That reminds me of Dolph Lundgren and freaking Universal Soldier, okay? He got all ears and whatever the crap he was saying to Van Damme. And then Van Damme comes up and he starts, well, anyway, damn it, I did it again. Went off track. But y'all know what I'm talking about. There's that part of Universal Soldier, you got all the Ring of Fire, you got the stupid necklace of everybody's body parts and stuff. And then they did the same thing in that movie with the Kill and Pill or whatever. Keanu was funny as hell.
However, the most coveted prize was nothing more and nothing less than the head, although beheading a man was no easy task. The procedure was as dirty as it was tedious, and a person not prepared for it could end up vomiting everything they had eaten a few hours ago.
See, that's not funny. This guy thinks it's funny to put a cigarette in somebody's mouth. Or, even though it's just a skeleton, there ain't no one in there no more. The spark is gone. The energy forever is gone. But the thing about it is, that was a human. It still is a human. The thing about it that makes it sick is that he's joking around with it, putting a cigarette in his mouth, acting like it's just something to do. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. And then, people don't look at it in a supernatural sense. That soul could forever haunt the person that has the corpse's head. Okay? And it's like, unless you were friends with it or something, and you can bring it back. But at the same time, the corpse's spirit is always going to haunt you. So that's a pretty demonic type of shit.
Tendons and muscles had to be cut, and once the head was freed from the rest of the body, it was necessary to deflesh it until only the skull remained. Although Americans saw it as a lighthearted gesture, for Army officers, it was an unpleasant and extremely cruel practice. In 1944, high-ranking officials were forced to issue an order prohibiting mutilations, although it was disobeyed. Gutting and amputations continued to be commonplace until the end of the war. Number 2, the Biscari Massacre.
So, they told them not to do it, and they did it anyway. And they still mutilated more people. Every last person in every photo that you just saw should be locked up for crimes against humanity, for crimes they did in the acts of war. They're war criminals, all of them. And yet, do we know anything about these people, who that person was that looked like Popeye holding them up like this? You know what I mean? Did he get in prison? Did he get assassinated or what? You know, you don't know. You have no idea. But this is the problem behind the scenes, that us regular Americans don't know what happens in actual war. And sometimes they'll make someone a hero who's actually the villain. And because they did a villainette that was beneficial to the United States of America, they are a hero. See, it's one of the things where it goes back to what's wrong is right and what's right is wrong, which means everything that went out of structure and the natural order of things is lost and we're off balance. But we got to bring that balance back by bringing harmony again and making people humble. Yeah. So anyway, let's see the third part.
In mid-1943, as fascism was beginning to be defeated, the Allies launched the conquest of Italy. Italy was the weakest link in the Axis. As its army was poorly equipped and even worse trained, nothing compared to the might of Nazi Germany. The invasion of Italy would start with Sicily, and the plan was to open a new front in southern Europe that would check the Third Reich. In this operation, the Allies encountered almost no resistance. People surrendered as soon as they saw the invaders. Battles were few, and indeed, Italians seemed happy that the war was coming to an end. Let's take a look at a British newsreel from that time reporting on the invasion.
Tons of supplies and equipment are ferried ashore. At many points, troops waded in, surprised to find much less resistance than expected.
However, none of this would prevent the Americans from committing a brutal massacre. This was because a significant portion of the troops was convinced that their duty was to exterminate every Italian they came across. They had good reasons to think so, as when they were traveling by boat to Sicily, they heard a speech on the loudspeakers by General George Patton, the man in charge of the operation. The incendiary words went as follows. Throughout the battle, you may see enemies shooting at you, but when they are surrounded, they will try to surrender. Those bastards must die. Kill them, stab them in the side or liver. We will earn a reputation as killers, so that when rumors spread that we are savages, no one will want to face us.
Yeah, you see right there, that goes back to what I was saying about us being a warmongering country. Because now Patton had an idea to take over, pretty much to get rid of the Nazis and be able to take over, in the war short. But no one followed his plan. Everything, things happen, spontaneously. Things just happen randomly. And so his plan that he had, his perfect plan, never got fulfilled. You would know this if you know military history. Hey, the name of the show that we're talking about. But anyway, so, and I did that by accident. But if you know about Patton, you know he had this plan. But what we just saw, what he just said, the quote from what he said is they need to die, period. So all this thing where they went over there and killed all these people, just like what we saw the Japanese a minute ago, it showed that America was a threat not to be messing with. So it's like they went against normal rules of trying to give, leniency in certain ways. It made us more of a threat. It made us more forceful, strong to our nation, to make it look like we're a nation not to be fucked with. Okay? But now, in modern day times, this is the whole big purpose of why I started trying to talk about this. In modern day times, we don't do that. We don't just kill anybody. the enemy. We let them live. We give them mercy. We trade with them. Hey, what kind of natural resources you got? Oh, we got these natural resources. You want to refine American oil for us, so we'll just buy some oil from you. Like stupid stuff like that. Okay, and so we're not that strong of a nation. And then you have the idiots, I have to say, from our countries that goes to their countries for vacation, or from what the women say on these shows I watch. They're going to Dubai and all these other places that really wasn't a country before, but all of a sudden Dubai is this giant country. But anyway, so they go to these places, they make Americans look like dumb shits, make us look like assholes and uneducated retards, and we don't look like that threat, that power force that we was back in the 40s, or even the 50s in the Korean War. They think it's a small war, and Vietnam was just a shit show. But with this situation, we're not that powerful like we used to be. We are, because we have the most military resources, but I would say that would be a decline, because I kind of believe, and this doesn't really have anything to do with World War II per se, but what's going on now currently with our supposed wars around the world. I would have to say that Ukraine, Ukraine, I'm not going to say a lot of bad things about Ukraine, but I'm just looking at it from observational thing as an American, and the situation with Russia and Ukraine. Okay, and we all think Russia's a threat. I mean, they proved that in Rocky 4. And the thing I'm trying to say is this, okay? I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, if Ukraine is the victims, okay, and they don't have enough resources and all this stuff, you can't really say okay, Russia is the enemy because they don't want to join NATO. But the thing about it is, Ukraine doesn't have any medical, or I should say military resources, but they've been asking America for them. Even Biden was on the news talking about, oh, we pretty much gave them all our supplies type of thing. So the thing that bothers me with this situation is Ukraine really the victims here? Or are they working a scam? Is this thing, because I mean, during the war, there's this like person I watch on YouTube, and they're Ukraine. And so they were in this perfect town where nothing's going down. If you were like really trying to bomb something, you bomb the rich people, the most comfortable place, I would think, because once you make a threat to the rich people, then people start doing stuff. But if you shoot down a bunch of bums in the ghetto, no one's giving a damn. So I mean, but I seen this rich town in Ukraine when the war was popping off, and nobody was fucking with it. Nobody. And I'm like, huh? Like, ain't all of Ukraine under attack? But you gotta understand how places may seem small, but they're really big in real life. But the whole thing is like, I started pondering that, because seriously, this is like, even with the homeless situation in Portland, the homeless people are taking all over. They put the homeless people in areas where there's people who's got low income or not really working or whatever. The place is already kind of going to shit, and so they'll put the homeless people there. But when you put the homeless people to the rich areas and they start affecting the rich people's way of walking somewhere or how they're living, then they want to go out and try to do something. And even if they don't, that's because it's not affecting enough rich people, so the voices get heard loud enough. So my point is, when that situation happened in Ukraine, this is at the beginning of the war, a year or two ago. It's 2 years now. So when it happened, I was like, whoa, they're not attacking these people, but they're supposed to be against the Ukraine. And so then here you got Biden, a year later talking about, we give up too much military weapons to Ukraine. It kind of seems like a ploy for Ukraine to get all the weapons from America to make us to where the Russians can move in whenever they want and attack the United States of America with less weapons. But we're supposed to have this big ass armory of weapons in the United States. So I'm not even quite sure, but I kind of think you have to look at every scenario. You can't mess around. Even if you were the president of the United States, you have to look at every scenario. You have 4 years, is what I don't get about presidents, but you got 4 years to handle enough problems as you want. With all the sources and people and resources you have, there should be no reason why a lot of the things should have been eliminated in the country. Okay? I don't give a damn who you are as president. There should be no reason why you can't eliminate multiple things. The thing I notice with every president is they'll handle at least 4 to 5 things, and they go, oh, He fixed the tax problem. He fixed the deficit. He fixed the job inflation problem. He would do all these things, and after that, everything else is still there. The school thing's still there. Medical's always there. So on and so forth is always there. But you have 4 years. So in 4 years, and with all the resources and the people you have, how come it is that no president in these United States has ever been able to eliminate all problems in the country for as long as possible, especially back when they used to have 3 terms. They used to have 3 terms, even 4 terms. It wasn't until Franklin Roosevelt that they stopped giving 3 terms. They only give you 2 terms. So altogether, a president can go another term, which would be 8 years of them being president, for those that don't know. Because believe it or not, I had a conversation with multiple conversations. One time with a woman that thought, oh, he can be president for another term, a 3rd term. What are you talking about? He only had 2. He only had 1, so he's going to have another one. That'd be 2. And then I had one conversation where I was talking about when the next president election is going to be, and I can make myself president. It was some little arrogant talk of mine. And the chick was like, oh, why you got to wait till that year? Like, you don't know it takes every 4 years to become president. There's a lot of ignorance in our country, and we show it to other countries. So watch what you do and say on YouTube, freaking TikTok, all that crap. Because the world is watching. One thing I can say is we're the inventors of lots of things, and we spread it to the world. So when they look at us, they go, oh my God, Americans are doing this and that. Well, maybe we should do this and that. You see what I'm saying? So don't do dumb shit, But anyway, I went way off what I was talking about with the war. So my point is, I think we shouldn't be giving out a lot of our resources. It's not our war. And America plays 911 to the world too much. It should play 911 when it needs to truly help those that are dying and suffering and in the need of some kind of help and someone to have their back. Not just because someone started a war, because someone won't join their little rich people fan club. And with that being said, I went way off topic. Patton's plan got screwed over. And he just proved that he's a racist towards Italian people, which means Michael Corleone should shot him dead.
Although Patton did not suspect it, this speech had a huge psychological impact on his men. Now the soldiers felt empowered to do whatever they wanted without facing the consequences. The moment of truth came on July 14th, 1943, when a battle took place in Biscari, a small town in Sicily. The Americans emerged victorious and captured 48 enemies. The prisoners were in the custody of Sergeant Horace West, who would soon prove to be an unstable and sadistic person. The officer led the prisoners to the rear, where the rest of the army could not see them until they reached an almost deserted olive grove. West couldn't shake the image of his comrades killed in the Biscari battle. And now he planned to take revenge by unleashing his fury on the detainees. He took a Thompson submachine gun and told his assistant, "Turn around if you don't want to see."
So Thompsons were like the big weapon in World War II in the 40s. It wasn't until like Vietnam they had the M16, which became a well-known weapon for jamming up on people and stuff. And yeah, you can learn all of that stuff on military history. You gotta dig this, man. But anyway, so the reason why I paused it because I can't remember when I did the other video. It was about them attacking Italy, and it wasn't Americans. It wasn't even the Germans. It was the people brought in by the French and ex-Nazi. And these people came in from Arabia and some of these other places, and they raped everyone in town, the animals, the old people, everybody. It was completely just mentally jacked up, And I think because of stuff like this, Americans went over and did another atrocity on top of the French and all that doing the atrocities over in Italy. Man, no wonder why the mob became the mob and they start hustling stuff around America, because they're trying to get their money back for their people that they took out. It's crazy. It's probably how Mexicans come over and they make money and send it back home to their family. They're probably doing the same thing with the mob. They come over here doing all these crimes and they're sending their money back to Italy, to Sicily, and all this stuff, and, give them to the Corleones and all that. You know, that's pretty jacked up, man. But that's probably what was going down. And that's why that whole migration happened in the 40s.
Then, he aimed at the prisoners and opened fire on them, riddling them with a burst of bullets. The victims fell to the ground, bleeding from their wounds and uttering cries of agony. For the sergeant, this was not enough. He wanted to make sure his enemies were definitively dead. For this reason, he approached them with a pistol and, one by one, finished them off with a shot to the heart. Now, West had satisfied his thirst for revenge, and the massacre had been successfully completed. Once news of the Biscari massacre spread throughout the army, it quickly reached Patton's ears. The murderer argued that he had been driven to kill by the general's speech. However, Patton was surprised by this claim and maintained that he had never intended to push his men into committing such a slaughter. West was tried by a military court, found guilty, and sentenced to life in prison.
Now, here comes the issue. He made a massacre. There's no doubt about that. It was a big crime against the people of Sicily. And, yeah, he was still serving the American troops, doing his job. If the leader tells you to do something, you're going to do what the leader says. And he's damn right to admit that he learned, maybe got influenced by Patton's way to go kill them all. And to get life imprisonment, though, is a way to show respect to that country, but at the same time, he only did what was asked of him. If a person didn't mean that, they shouldn't say that. I'm a strong believer in leaders saying what they mean and meaning what they say. And if they can't do that, then they're no leader. They're an instigator. They're trying to instigate people to do something, and then don't take credibility when that action happens. That's exactly what Patton did. Okay? And so, all this, Patton should be on the chopping block as well, depending on how many other things that happen underneath his part of the world. But his is mostly Europe. Everything happening in the Pacific. I keep burping when I'm not doing something. But so what happened in the Pacific was totally a different situation. And it wasn't just, it was kind of like Nazis over there, but they were Japan. Because they hated Chinese people as well. And that thing, the whole thing with the last emperor of China, and then moving on, the whole Boxer Rebellion, all these other things that happened. And it all led up to the Japanese having their own little Nazis all over the Pacific. You gotta learn your history, people.
Nevertheless, the sergeant would be pardoned by President Dwight Eisenhower, who cleared him of his guilt and allowed him to continue serving in the army until he passed away in 1974. Thus, the killer escaped justice and never received a sentence commensurate with his crimes.
Oh, never mind.
Number 1. The bombing of Dresden. On February 13, 1945, the citizens of the German city of Dresden faced the apocalypse. By then, the Third Reich was cornered by the Soviets, and it was clear that it had no chance of winning the war. However, no one suspected that Dresden could be the target of a massive attack. There were no important targets in the city, no weapon factories or military barracks with large troop concentrations. There were only expectant civilians, eager for the war to end, so that everything could return to normal. None of them were aware that in a matter of minutes they would be reduced to ashes. The bombing was a joint operation of the American and British Air Forces. The Luftwaffe had no pilots or planes, so there was no way to stop the Allied aircraft. The German radar system was severely weakened, and they didn't even have anti-aircraft artillery to defend themselves. In other words, the city was an easy prey, ready to be devoured by the first one to propose it. Between February 13 and 15, more than 2,000 planes unleashed a firestorm over Dresden. In total, almost 4,000 tons of explosives and incendiary bombs were used. the city center was shattered, and about 25,000 people, mostly civilians not involved in the war, lost their lives. Let's listen to the testimony of Lothar Metzger, a survivor of the massacre. "We saw terrible things. Adults charred to the size of a small child, pieces of arms, legs, corpses everywhere, whole families burned. People on fire ran through the streets, cars engulfed in flames with people inside. The population called out for their children and families. There was a burning wind that pushed the victims back into the burning houses they were trying to escape from. I can't forget these terrible details. I never can." But the attack not only affected native Germans, it also claimed the lives of prisoners of war who were locked in the city. Let's hear the testimony of Victor Gregg, an Englishman who had been captured and was now in the eye of the storm with his friend Harry.
This bomb landed outside the building, big bomb it was, must have been, and smashed the building completely. And it picked me up, threw me over the other side of the building, and I got covered in all the dust and the stuff. And Harry must have taken a full concussion, because when I finally come to and crawled back to where he was dead. There wasn't a mark on him, except all the blood and stuff had come out every orifice he had. So that's what I assumed, that
what had happened?
Concussion had killed him.
Every testimony about the bombing is more tragic than the other. Let's hear the words of Margaret Fryer, another survivor. "To my left, I saw another woman. To this day, I can see it, and it will never be erased from my memory. She was carrying a bundle in her arms. Her baby. She was running, but suddenly she stumbled, and the child flew towards a pile of fire. A manic fear seized me, and from then on, I repeated a simple prayer to myself. I don't want to burn to death. I don't know how I managed to get out of there." Today, historians...
So pause it right there, kind of getting into the story. But that's horrifying. Man, I mean, here's the thing. That's something that can happen in America. Okay, when they get more into the story of talking about normal citizens being attacked, oh man, I got this burp crap going on. Apologize, excuse me. I've been doing it like all week. You know, I can get up and burp, and I walk down the street and I'm burping, and I'll get like it's like just keep burping. Okay, I don't know what the hell. Got a lot of gas, I guess. But anyway, so I'm being serious here. I know I sound funny. When I'm in a good mood, like things come out funny, but I'm not being funny. This is a tragic issue. So things I'm saying is kind of serious right here. That is serious. So here's the thing. So when we talk about normal citizens going about their everyday life, and they're sitting there and they're going to the store and all this crap, and all of a sudden some bomb blows up, people are burning, getting shot, all this crap, and they have to hide in places. Even the part with the baby getting thrown in the fire, that's unthinkable. It's just literally unthinkable. But when we talk about this type of stuff, you have to picture in your mind that any given day, you just need a person to sit back and have one bad day to think about doing some crazy shit, and it'll pop off like that. We live in a country where we don't have to see war daily, except for when there was a stupid COVID. But but honestly, it could happen any day. We could be walking down the grocery store, or you're walking to your car, anything. Something blows up, someone getting shot from from up high, someone sniping people, any type of thing could happen. So my thing to say is to be aware, be more cautious of what's going on around you. Have better observational skills, which I notice a lot of people don't have. You gotta sit back and you gotta pay attention to who's walking by you, who's driving in a car next to you. Yes, it's a thing where you can do it too much and seem paranoid or delusional or something crazy like that. But just be observant. Don't have to tell everybody what you see at that every moment you see it, but just pay attention. Quit trying to be fancy dressed or whatever, get yourself attention. Don't be the thing of attention. Pay attention to everything around you that people might not even be paying attention to. You know, that might be hazardous to you and anybody else's life. But America could easily happen like this at any time. And so that's one thing I don't know if I made that point big enough in the last video when I talked about the military stuff and things we don't know. But yes, this is what you have to pay very close attention to. We don't know really who the threat is anymore. Okay, we don't know if it's your neighbor, your friend, your teacher, your boss, the guy that owes you money. You know what I'm saying? Or taxpayer, the person in the store, someone at the fast food place, whatever. You don't know who the enemy is anymore. Who's a spy? Who's a secret agent? Okay, you don't know. And that's coming from understanding that we can't trust people like we used to. We can't trust people like we used to. We can't, welcome people in our home like we used to. We can't do any of these things anymore, because people's characters can be just another mask they're wearing, Just like Kobe got to wear the face mask. It could be another mask. And you're sitting there and you're trying to be, if you got good sense, you're trying to be a person who treats people kindly with proper etiquette and good manners. And so sometimes I have a problem with that. I'm trying to talk, with good manners and with proper etiquette. And at the same time, there's people coming at me and they're trying to piss me off. Literally trying to piss me off. And I'm trying not to go there. But then when I go there, everybody's shocked. Oh my God, he's going to try to do this to me or something. They just start delusion crap because you didn't piss me off. And I done hit the strip. And my strip is more super villainly than anything. And I'm going to destroy you all. So you shouldn't have played with me like that to begin with. So, anyway. Oh God, why I sound crazy. But that's the truth. And so this more stuff, it makes perfect sense. You're going to go crazy. But there's going to be a day where your crazy needs to be the protection or weapon for someone else. And that's why I'm saying be observant, pay attention to what's going on, because if you don't, someone's going to try to take you out and everyone else out. Someone's got to be the hero in that scenario. So there might be the crazy person you are that needs to step up and make the choice to sit there and be the victim, to be the hero, or to be the help for everybody else. The person that goes around helping everybody get out of the situation, get out of that fire car, get out of the freaking building that you're trapped in. You might be that person. Still, once again, another hero. And then after you became that hero, you get decorated or whatever if you're, so get some kind of honor. If not, you're going to the Legion Fields anyway, so that's where all the heroes go when they die. You'll be alright. So, yeah. And we're going to wrap this up. We're going to see what the last part is, what they're saying, and
agree that the bombing was an unnecessary maneuver, serving only to terrorize the German population and show them what could happen if they did not surrender soon. We've reached the end of the video and we want to ask you, which Allied country committed the worst war crimes?
So, I can leave that for some of y'all that might want to go watch this again without me rambling about war, politics, humanity, racism, death, pretty much everything I've been rambling about. But trust me, if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you might get a bit of the truth. You might get more intelligence than you realize, and on issues of this nature. So, with all this being said, was any of the things that America did during the war right when it came to stuff like this? No. Was it right for any other country? The answer is no. Because when it comes to killing, we're not supposed to, biblically wise. Or should I say, moral wise. We're not supposed to kill. But there's a time and a place for everything. Hence, Kittikalaskis in the Bible. Kittikalaskis, I can't pronounce it right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's after Psalms and Proverbs. It's Kittikalaskis. For every dawn there's a night, for every night there's a day, and so forth. and kill and I don't know, I can't even remember. Anyway, it's a long, almost reads like poetry, and it's been a while since I read it, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I can't remember it as much as I used to read it. But they'll tell you that, time to kill, time to love, a time to hate, a time to do this. It's like that one song about turning and turning. So either way, the whole point is it happens in life, but we're not supposed to kill just to kill. This is supposed to be a thing of honor, something of valor in a way, for people to kill in the name of their country and for their people. But I don't recommend it at all in a sense that we do it nowadays. It's more normal citizen-made killings than there are war killings. And that's the honest to God truth. Most of war is about waiting. They're waiting for an enemy to do something. They hear this plan by a spy, and they go out and they execute that plan. If you guys don't know, that's how it works. Spies are very valuable in the acts of war, or informants as well. So, they'll be like, oh, this guy's going to the west end of this country. They're moving to this warehouse. They have military weapons and hostages from Vietnam. Literally, if you're watching this espionage movies and war stuff, you know exactly what I'm saying is the truth. And then they'll come and report it to the general or whoever the higher up is. The higher up sends it to a squadron. The squadron goes out to execute that plan. This is why troops go out and handle individual missions. They don't just say, oh, go over here and go kill these people. It's because someone already went there, heard someone say something will happen. They know it's going down. So that's when they send it to the higher ups. It goes to the troops. And bam, go out there, and all of a sudden they kill a dude named Brooklyn. And you're like, no, Brooklyn. And everybody's like, they're doing all this shit. And the whole time, some old bastard sitting back, chilling, smoking a cigar, playing gin rummy. Cold slag. So, the answer is that this isn't all morally wrong, but it's justified in the sense that it has to do with protecting your own. Except for your own only means protecting someone else's interests in a country where you're born at that is already protecting someone else's interests. So, hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, this is SLK, Shelby. Peace out. Blessings upon you always. Until next time, word life, solid snake. Peace.